You're not breathing. You're not on a battlefield. You're in a muddy ditch in the Netherlands, and the last thing you see is a gray sky and your own blood mixing with the mud. A musket ball just took you in the chest. But this isn't the end of the story. This is where we rewind. Because to understand how you got here, with a hole in your lung and a lifetime of scars, we have to go back, way back, to a pile of dust in southern France and a young man with nothing but a rusty sword and an ego the size of a cathedral. The year is 1625. You're the second son of a broke baron in Gascony. Your castle is a chicken coop with a family crest painted on the door. Your inheritance, a moth-eaten cloak and your father's debts. Your older brother gets everything, the dirt, the debt, and the chickens. Your future has two paths, the church or the army. And let's be honest, with the way your blood boils from cheap wine and the scorching sun, praying was never an option. You want to fight. You want to live. Your father gives you a horse the color of yellow fever, 3 silver coins, and a letter of introduction. His last words, sell your skin, but never your honor. You laugh. Honor is the only thing you own. You ride into Paris, and the first thing that hits you is the smell. It's a symphony of sewage, perfume, rotting fish, and gunpowder. You, on your jaundiced horse, look like a scarecrow. The Parisians laugh. A big mistake. Your hand goes to your sword. First duel. You're a Gascon. You've never killed anyone, but you don't overthink it. You run the bastard through. Blood on the cobblestones, the taste of iron in your mouth. You're alive. That yellow horse, sold for sausage meat. You rent a room where the bedbugs are the size of cherries. You try to join the Musketeers, the guys in the fancy blue cloaks. They laugh you out of the guardhouse. Get lost, peasant. To be a musketeer, you first have to be a guard. You have to prove you're worth the king's salary. For 2 years, you're a cadet. You serve in minor regiments. You eat dirt. You learn not to die. Finally, the order comes. You're in. But the real fight has just begun. Because being a musketeer is a bankrupt business. The king gives you a horse, but you have to buy the saddle. That azure blue cloak with the silver cross, you have to sell your soul to loan sharks to afford it. It costs a fortune. And the hat, the huge hat with the ostrich feather. That feather costs as much as a cow. It gets in your eyes, it gets soaked in the rain, but without it, you're nobody. And then there's the gun, the musket. You think a musketeer is all about the sword. Idiot. You're a shooter. The thing weighs 7 kilograms. It's a club that sometimes fires a 20-millimeter ball, the size of a walnut. If this hits a man, it doesn't make a hole. It rips off a chunk, an arm, a leg, half a head. But loading it, it's a 30-step dance of death. While you're priming the pan and ramming the ball down the barrel, enemy cavalry just covered 100 meters, and you have a lit match, a smoldering rope soaked in saltpeter, always burning between your fingers. One spark in the wrong place, and you're an astronaut. The sword is for your soul. You learn to fight, but it's not fancy ballroom dancing. Street fighting is dirty. You throw your cloak over their blade, you kick them in the groin, you bite. Because honor isn't about rules. Honor is winning. If you lose, you're dead. Doctors can't fix a gut wound. Peritonitis kills you in 3 days of pure agony. So you learn to strike first, in the throat, in the eye. Paris in the 1630s is a gang war. The king's musketeers in blue, Cardinal Richelieu's guards in red. You meet in taverns, on wastelands. Duels are illegal, punishable by death, but you're the king's favorites. Hey, Red Cloak, your cardinal sleeps with a goat. Steel meets steel, 5 on 5. You're not fighting for the king. You're fighting because you're bored, because you're drunk. You run one through, he gurgles, you wipe your blade on his fancy red coat. That night, you drink for free. Your diet is goose, onion soup, and liters of burgundy. Water is poison. Only toads drink water. You drink wine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Your liver is turning to stone, but you're young. Women, duchesses and washerwomen, they all love the feather.
You're climbing up a rope to a window. The husband comes home. You escape in your underwear, but you feel like a king.
Then the king sends you to war. La Rochelle. You thought it would be a parade. It's trenches. Your blue cloak is a rag. Your boots are full of water. Rain puts out your fuses. Your musket is just an expensive stick. You see what a cannonball does to a horse. You pray to be killed instantly. Gangrene. The smell of rotting meat is sweet and sticky. You eat crackers with worms. You sleep in puddles. You survive the assault. You're a hero, but you brought back a souvenir. Not gold. Syphilis, the French disease. First a little sore, then a rash, then the bone pain at night, like your skeleton is trying to claw its way out. The cure? Mercury. You smear it on, you drink it, you breathe it. Your hair falls out, your teeth wobble, your gums go black. You're rotting alive to stop yourself from dying. You powder your face to hide the sores. You wear a wig to hide the baldness. You smell of perfume and decay. You're 35, a captain. You guard the young Sun King, Louis XIV, Versailles. You stand at attention for 10 hours. Your back screams. Old wounds ache. You see the glittering court, the silk, the intrigue. Here, they kill with whispers, not swords. You take bribes. You're always broke. To be a musketeer, you have to look like a prince. Gold lace costs as much as a village. You owe money to everyone. On the outside, you gleam. In your pocket, a hole and a dried crust of bread. More wars, more butchery. You're 45, an old man. The new recruits are powdered puppies who bought their commissions from their rich daddies. They never smelled gangrene. You teach them to fence. You hit them hard. You enjoy their fear. But your hand isn't what it used to be. Gout twists your fingers. Your eyesight is failing. One day, a young fop knocks the sword from your hand. Laughter behind you. The king sends you into retirement. No pension. You served until you couldn't sit a horse. You drink alone. Your friends are dead. Athos from cirrhosis. Porthos under a rockfall. Aramis is an abbot who forgot your name. You are alone. Until 1673, the siege of Maastricht. D'Artagnan, the legendary captain, leads the charge. It's madness, an assault in broad daylight. You run across an open field. You see him fall, a musket ball to the throat. The legend is dead. You stop. You don't believe it. And then something hits you in the chest, like a kick from a horse. You're in the mud, staring at a gray sky. No pain, just cold. You try to breathe, but your lungs are full of blood. You see your boot, a good boot. Someone will steal it in 5 minutes. You lived 63 years, an eternity. Your score, 12 men killed in duels, 56 men killed in war, a lake of wine drunk. Women? You lost count after the first 200. 15 bastards scattered across France, inheriting your nose and your poverty. You earned 1 million livres. Your balance? 0. You owe everyone. Your body is a collection of scars, 4 bullet holes, 7 sword wounds, a nose rotted by syphilis. They'll bury you in a mass grave, no monument. But here's the joke, the real joke. 200 years later, a writer finds some memoirs you never even wrote, and he turns you into a legend. He invents your friendship. He gives you the line, all for one and one for all. The world remembers you not as a drunk, broke killer with rotten teeth, but as a knight in a shining blue cloak. You cheated death. You became an immortal symbol of honor. It's funny, isn't it? You'd laugh if the worms hadn't already eaten your tongue. You were a musketeer, and it was a hell of a hunt. Want to know what a Caribbean pirate was really like? Without Johnny Depp, but with scurvy, amputation, and a one-way ticket to the bottom of the ocean?
or how samurai really died, not for honor, but from parasites and infected cuts. Hit that subscribe button. We dig up every grave in history. And comment below, who was tougher, the musketeer or the samurai?